Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Resto Mod Daisy, and today we've got a new acquisition for the shop. This is a Daisy Red Ryder, a number 111 Model 40 that I picked up off of eBay. Normally when I buy these guns, I like to buy them as rough as I can find them so that A, I can get them cheap enough to make it worthwhile, and B, so I don't have anybody screaming at me about how I ruined a museum grade piece by doing what I do to the guns that I do it to. And this is a good example of a desirable number 111 Model 40 with lots of issues. Let's start down here on the buttstock as per normal. There's our Red Ryder imprint, but you'll notice that Fred's name is AWOL. You can see some of it, but not much. And the butts had some deterioration over time. Evidently it liked being on this side. Got a little bit of a chip in the tip of the butt. Not a big problem for me because I typically don't reutilize these factory butts, although I do clean them up and sell them. This one, I don't know if it had a value to somebody or not, but we will find out at some point in time. Let's move on up and take a look at this cast aluminum lever. Now, I've seen a lot of messy levers, but get real close on this. This is the worst case of oxidation I think I've ever seen. I mean, look at that. It is incredible. There are some flecks of paint in there, but by and large, oxygen has worked its wicked will on the aluminum, and what we have now is a Fudge Master kind of look. It'll clean up though. Moving on to the receiver, we do have a correct screw here, and I think that might have been a correct screw at some point in time before it turned into a rust nodule. This particular screw is stainless steel and it is not correct. The one on the top stock screw is not correct either. And we'll note that the nuts that we're securing the backside are a little bit bigger than the standard Daisy nut, and at one point in time probably had a brass coating on them. It's probably some sort of a cheap steel with a brass coat, but that's worn down over time. I want to point out to you just the incredible amount of rust this gun's got. Look at that. It's piled up, rust on top of rust on top of rust, and then a little more rust. Now I have to admit, I rubbed this part of it down with an oily rag, and I think was going to be a vain attempt to be able to read what it says, which is Red Ryder carbine. And then as we roll over, you might be able to make out the Plymouth, Michigan stamp. No. I mean, it takes a pretty discerning eye to find it. This is a post-war gun because of the aluminum lever. It's got the fixed rear sight. Still has the same old style spring anchor that we looked at the other day on another customer's gun. It just came in for a rebuild. Same exact model, basically, but hers is in much better shape than this one. Forearm's okay. That's the original screw. That's good. This is the wide barrel band. That's good because the current product is a very narrow barrel band. There are discernible differences there. Now, on the barrel shroud, quite a bit of rust, but I'm not seeing any major dings. And for my process, that is okay. I can work with that. It's got a tack welded barrel band, front sight band up here, which would be appropriate for the gun. Now, I don't think this shot tube came with this gun. I could be wrong, but it does not have the lightning loader gate, a little flange of metal that hides here to keep the BBs from rolling out. And looking at the tube itself, I don't think it ever had a gate tack welded to it. So I think this is a bottle cap that got transplanted onto this gun from some other Daisy at some point in time, long, long ago. In terms of shot tubes, it's not bad. Looks like something built a little house there and probably lived there for a while. The seam here on the tube is pretty exaggerated. It's pretty big, so it probably blows a lot of air there. But it does have its BB retention spring, which is important. And you can kinda, no, not really, sorta see through it. Let's see if I can find a probe. We'll find out if there's something occluding the bore, aside from gunge. Oh, no, we have a stoppage up there somewhere. So from this end of the gun, somewhere up in here, I bet you is a lodged BB. Maybe one or two. Maybe two or three. So anyway, that's a problem that'll have to be corrected with the shot tube. The gun does cycle. It doesn't sound good, but it does cycle. the trigger returning spring's present. That's good because the trigger engages. Now I want you to listen to this noise. This is pretty abrupt and pretty shocking, but this is what no seals sounds like. A real harsh mechanical clangy bangy. Not good for the gun, so we won't do that again. But I feel confident that there are no seals in the compression chamber, the compression seal or the abutment seal. I did see the ear tube, so it's there when I looked down the bore earlier. We have a incorrect shot tube, not a problem, that's going to go away. We have some seals, not a problem, that's going to get fixed. We have major rust campaign to run, and that's going to take some time. There'll be some draw filing involved with this. But, by and large, a new addition to the Remuda, an actual 111 Model 40 that isn't sold to somebody or promised to somebody. It's actually a gun I can speculate with, should I decide to do so. So that's all we've got for you today here at Resto My Daisy Kids. This is Shane Bruce, signing off.